Hello, ladies and gentlemen, this is Bunnysays. Welcome back for another edition of Sherlock Holmes vs. Jack the Ripper. I'm just going to resume from where we left off. Get right to it. Oh, well, yeah, okay. The last time we played, we were going through all the dummies, the physical dummies that we were dressing up and trying to find out a description of the killer.
We'll need a map, Watson.
And, okay, and we got to this description. We figured out the light colored hair, 5'3", and, let me see, regular gray cap and some clothes, regular old clothes that the guy had. And found out the first time, went back to his house probably, and then changed. That's why there was a description of him in two different ways. Okay, so now we're getting a map to try to... What's going on here? Okay. I don't know what that was about, but I just picked up. What did I just pick up? Pencil and two compasses. Okay. He said we needed a map. Where's our map? There it is. Oh, okay, there it is.
First of all, let's place our 4 murders on this map, as well as the spot where the graffito appeared, and the piece of apron was dropped.
What did it say? Okay, what do you say? And where the piece of apron was? Okay. Ordnance survey map of Whitechapel, area 1888. We have a big map of Whitechapel. We have the Christchurch, Spitalfields. Can't even read that. Something Newtown. And Melbourne and Newtown. Something. Okay, Whitechapel. We have 2 Goulston Street, Mitre Square, Dutfield Yard, and Bucks Row. Okay, on 29 Hanbury Street. I remember that. I remember Hanbury Street. That was the first one. Annie Chapman, 29. Is that right now? Who's this? Elizabeth Stride. These pictures are horrible. Like, if you look at them, they're so horrible looking. The real pictures, by the way, are... No. Their faces, that is. Elizabeth Stride. Where is this? Bucks Row? Is it Bucks Row? I think. Polly Nichols. I don't remember. Catherine Eddowes is the one we just did. She was a Mitre Square, right? Goulston Street was the graffiti. Wait, can I just put this anywhere? I can't, no? Okay. And what's this last one? Polly Nichols. She must be here. Okay, guess not. I remember the first and last one. I know the first one was the 29 Hanbury Street. That's from reading all those letters. And I remember the last one we just did. It was Mitre Square. That was Catherine Eddowes. try switching these two. Lux Row and...
Perfect, Watson. Let's connect
okay.
each crime scene to the one out of the others that is the furthest.
Sorry, what? Let's try connecting the... Okay. What are we doing here? Okay.
You see, Watson, the murders aren't grouped together, but seem to be spread out like cardinal points around a central zone. The killer obviously wanted to avoid returning to the previous scenes of his crimes, assuming that they would be more closely watched, or that he could be recognized.
So, the killer lives at the center of this cross?
In the vicinity, most certainly, but how near? We cannot afford to get it wrong. If you concentrate, Watson, you will notice that the murders are roughly equidistant from the intersection point of the diagonals. Let's focus on the night of the double murder. Remember, Watson, it took us 20 minutes to get from Dutfield's Yard to Mitre Square. Let's draw a line from one to the other.
Okay, Dutfield Yard to Mitre Square. This is Mitre Square. Yeah. 20 minutes from here to here.
Perfect. We didn't make the trip as the crow flies, but that would not harm our estimate. Let's suppose the killer left Dutfield's Yard at 1 a.m. and arrived in Mitre Square at 1:35 a.m. when he was seen by the two Josephs. If he took 5 minutes to change his clothes, that leaves a range of 10 minutes to determine where this man's lodgings are. We must determine the area in which one can go from Dutfield's Yard to Mitre Square in less than half an hour. To do this, let's draw an ellipsis. The length between Dutfield's Yard and Mitre Square corresponds to 20 minutes. By adding half, we get a distance of 30 minutes. By taking the two right segments, each starting from the two murder scenes, and which the sum of the lengths makes 30 minutes, we get our ellipses.
What? Okay. It's one ellipses. So how is the ellipses going to be drawn here? Is this right? No. Let me... Okay, what about... No. About... One here. I guess. You gonna say something, or can I move the ellipses, or what? No, I guess I can't, huh? What pain. Okay, I guess it's too big. I'm assuming here. Should it be on top of... Wait, what is this thing anyway? What does this thing do? Nothing. I can't use it yet. Okay, this looks about halfway. Yeah. Okay, and then what? Between here and the... Excuse me. Okay, I'll try to cut that truck out. I'm sorry about that. Then what? From here to here? Okay, I'm not actually sure how to... No. See, the problem is, why can't I just right-click? Why do we have to... Really, do we have to use the eraser? Why can't I just right-click and get rid of that? Why can't I right-click to get rid of the eraser? Okay, I'm not actually sure what, okay, maybe another... Well, presumably, that ellipse shouldn't be going off screen. 20 minutes from the... I don't know. I'm not... No, wait a minute. You know what? Maybe connecting to the other murder? So from here to... here? With the graffiti? What was his instructions again? Trace an ellipse in which we can go from Dutfield's yard to Minor Square in less than half an hour. I did. Oh, maybe it's too big. Okay, guess not. It's too small. Can I move this? Oh, nope. Alright, how am I supposed to figure out less than half an hour? This is 20 minutes. Well, okay. Presumably then 30 minutes would be a little bit bigger, right?
There we are, Watson.
Oh,
Our
my
killer
God.
lives in this area.
It's still rather a vast area, Holmes.
Yes, indeed. And our goal is to reduce this area as much as we can. We must consider the fact that the murder at Mitre Square was committed under a certain amount of pressure, given that the killer knew he was wanted for the acts he committed not long before. We can assume that he had to do it in a safe zone, that is, an area not far from where he lives. This is especially true of an act such as the graffiti he carried out after 2 murders. Let's trace a circle around this point, with the distance separating it from Mitre Square as the radius. This will enable us to determine our killer's safe zone.
With minus... with minus square is the what? Trace a circle whose center is the location of the graffiti. I misspelled it. And a piece of apron. And whose circumference passes through Mitre Square. Okay. That would be about here, right? Well, today. Oh, okay, here we go. Is this Minor Square? Okay, yeah. Okay, maybe I messed that up. Wait a minute, let me read that again. Trace a circle whose center is the location of the graffiti. Oh, okay, graffiti. Center is the graffiti. Okay. And whose circumference. Okay. So just start here and go like that.
Our killer must surely live inside this circle. Now, let's intersect it with the ellipsis that we previously determined.
Okay, that's this area here. So, click on the intersection of the zones to determine right here. Yeah.
There we are, Watson, the Aldgate district.
Shouldn't we inform the police so that they can concentrate their efforts on this area of Whitechapel?
It is probably already crawling with inspectors, Watson, and I doubt that they would take us seriously, even if they were willing to listen to what we had to say. Let's focus instead on understanding the killer's modus operandi. We know our murderer preys on prostitutes who are penniless, weak, sick, or alcoholic, that he distracts them the moment before killing them, and that he left an anonymous message inciting anti-Semitic hatred at the entrance of a building occupied by Jews. How would you describe this man?
What a coward.
Indeed, he is a person of great cowardice. Let's look at his murders, and in particular, the depredations on the corpses, putting aside that of Liz Stride, because on that occasion his work was left unfinished. If we recall the observations made on the victims and the parts that were mutilated or damaged on each of the bodies, without forgetting the fact that he also removed one or more organs, we can ascertain that our killer evolves during the course of the murders, cowardly and still evolving. And yet, look at the location of our first murder, that of Polly Nichols in Bucks Row. It is the most distant from the area our killer would appear to live. Perhaps this murder was preceded by another within the killer's area. I believe a cowardly killer would commit his first murder in an area close to his home in order to find refuge as quickly as possible on carrying out the act.
Holmes, an idea just occurred to me that fills me with dread. This evolution of which you speak.
He will pursue his next victim as long as the conditions permit him to continue killing, Watson.
But how could one go even further in this horror? Look at what he did to that woman, Catherine Eddowes.
In order to avoid having to answer that question, we must act with haste and planning. Watson, I suggest you inform yourself on the mutilations sustained by the victims. We played with the idea that this could be an act of vengeance against prostitutes. If the mutilations correspond to areas affected by a specific pathology, perhaps the killer wanted to give an eye for an affliction he felt the prostitutes he knew were responsible for.
And this trail leading to Dr. Tumblety Holmes?
I also have a few things to look into in the meantime. I still have a primary witness to track down, not to mention old trails I've yet to pursue. See you soon, Watson. When we first spoke about the Bucks Row murder with Watson, he was reading a newspaper, The Star, dated September 1st, 1888, I believe, which mentioned similar murders in the preceding months. I have no chance of finding the police reports, but perhaps I could find some information at the Central News Agency. I must go there at once. Afterwards, I'll go back to see Abraham, the owner of the pet shop in Whitechapel. The second Joseph's statement would lead me to believe that he may know the man spotted on the corner of Church Passage that night. If that's the case, I must find this witness so I can question him.
Okay, so we'll go to the news agency first, then to see Abraham. He did make it sound like the guy was getting revenge on the prostitutes. Why? Maybe because he had syphilis or something like that, or he had some disease or something, maybe. I love looking at the stuff in the house. It's actually very interesting. Okay, well, we're going... Oh, where's the map?
There is nothing more to do here.
Nope, wrong. Nope, wrong map. Do I literally have to leave? I do, huh? Okay. So this is our area. Go between Minor Square and Goldston Street. The ward of Aldgate. Okay. Where we going to? Where were we going? Central News Agency. Okay. There we go.
Bulling is there. It won't hurt just this once.
Oh, okay. Bulling is here. The drunk guy that was at the other place, the club, the bar.
Hello, Mr. Bulling. So, did your colleague tell you about the tip?
What tip?
Ah, I see. I gave him an explosive tip and he went without you? Oh, that's not very sporting on his part. No doubt he took all of the credit for his discovery.
You're winding me up, eh?
I must show Bulling something to make him believe me. Closed.
Okay. Let's show him something to make him believe me. Oh wait, is this something we have? Oh yeah, right there. Oh, okay.
What do you want?
I'm not winding you up. The proof is that he gave me this advance on the debt.
The traitor! He owes me if I find him.
Before I leave, can you do me a favor?
Heck, tell me.
I'm looking for some reliable info on the murders committed in Whitechapel in the months before Polly Nichols' attack.
Reliable? Ha! You really think you'll find that here? Fine. I'll be honest with you. We have folders that group the dispatches from the current year into categories. In the police law category,
Okay.
you'll find the transcripts from the trials and investigations that we sell to the newspapers that ask us.
Perfect.
Sadly, I am out of time. I'll leave you to solve it, eh? You're the detective, aren't you?
Seriously, he can't just point it out. Can't even tell where the things are. What's this all about? Attention, the blue envelopes from the dispatch compartment contain confidential facts that must not be discussed in the news. As a reminder, they contain the political personalities, essentially the royal family, and economic issues. This dispatches, should be these, will be retained only to be diffused when Buckingham Palace or the ministers give us the authority. Okay. I still open it now? No? Okay. What's this about? Stevenson and C Enterprises? Key C? Bill. Repair the wood of the news and brief compartment, £1. Payment received 12 July 1888. Repair the wood of the news and brief. Okay. In the letter, Sir, as the agency receives numerous dispatches, the filing system that you made appears to be too small, particularly for the world and society sections, which cover too much area and overflow into the boxes below. Police, law, and culture, respectively. Oh, okay, so we find the... the worlds and the society sections. Okay. Below that is the police, law, and culture. Okay. Would you be able to furnish a device in order to keep only one filing cabinet while awaiting your response, sir? Please accept our best wishes, the assistant director. Okay. What else we have here? There, Fernand. I'm confirming my presence on Friday evening at the club. It will be with pleasure because I must get my mind off things or risk falling into a black depression. Just imagine, the new laddie still has the favors of Janet. But she'll end up forgetting him and giving in to me because I am not lacking in ideas to get rid of her suitors. Yesterday, I randomly placed a few inventions in science with politics dispatches. After all, they are always harebrained items. Given that the compartments are on one on top of the other, it could have easily passed as one of the new lad's errors, and, as anticipated, he was called in by the boss. As soon as I have the chance, I will show him how, like in the news, everything's in the balance. He looks like a half-wit. He could easily confuse the politics with the society section on his right. Okay, so politics and the society sections are the right. So I gotta find the politics section. Society sections are right, and the law and order is below it. Okay, and this ladder. Okay, he looks like a halfway. You could easily confuse the politics with the society section on the right, and this ladder with the economy, which is its neighbor. Okay, society section. Then next is the economy. I don't know how an intelligent girl like Janet can like a swat like him, but he doesn't have much longer to smile. Really? That's pathetic. Okay, presumably that's the... Is there anything else I need to get here? Oh god, there's more letters. To improve the dispatch filing, propose... major info up high, except news and brief. Minor info down low, except police, law. Okay. Thus, in future, propose also to invert news and brief, which is, for the moment, up high, and police, law, which is actually down low. Furthermore, the weather section is almost always empty. Put it with news and brief. Okay, so the weather section is almost always empty. Gotcha. My dear George, your little brother has had some misfortune. My first week of work was very grueling. First, I was given a spot far from the stove, and I am very cold in the morning. Next, I have to sort through the dispatches. The most tedious and boring work imaginable. Once the work is done, I must take each envelope to the journalist in question, who won't even deign to look at me. Finally, at the end of my third day, the boss called me into his office to give me a sermon. It seems that I had mixed up the dispatches. I was so worn out that I could only protest half-heartedly. He gave me a second chance, so now I'm in a sticky situation. The only hopeful note comes from my colleague, Miss Filthin, a charming young woman, presumably that's Janet, a charming young woman who is the only one to give me a smile. She helps me as much as she can and tries to prompt me regarding which compartment I should put my dispatches. Because everyone here knows the order of the sections, but no one has bothered to tell me. The lady has so much compassion and slides me notes such as politics and society are on the side, sports is underneath economy, personalities is at the end of the row. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Front page news is the first compartment. Personalities is at the end of the row, sports is underneath economy. Front page news is the first compartment. Okay, etc. And these confidences are almost words of love from her mouth. I don't think that she likes placing the envelopes on the desk at all because she ends up with some thanks that are very disturbing. Oh, okay. I have volunteered for the task, much to everyone's displeasure. Nothing new concerning my landlady, but I managed to pay her for the week, and she consented to keep me. Don't say anything about my troubles to Mumsy. I don't want to alarm her, but not wanting to lie to her, I have chosen to not write. With warmest regards, your brother, Albert. Oh god, this is a mad puzzle, huh? Oh, really? Let's see what's going on here.
The dossiers are full of papers in dated envelopes. I can't open them. That would be too obvious. How can I tell which compartment to look in? No categories are indicated.
Okay, well, we know that the... Oh god, they want me to label them? Well, the first one, it was the world. Right? Oh, Lord. Really? Do I have to read over those things again? Let's see. Here we go. Nope, wrong one. The blue envelopes from the dispatch compartment contain confidential facts that must not be discussed in the news. Okay, alright. The blue envelopes were the confidential ones, right? But there are several blue envelopes. What the hell is going on?
An envelope is torn. I can tell that this dispatch contains economic information.
Yeah, okay. That's economy. What's this one? They light up, huh? Well, some of them do. Well, that one did. The suppose it was on the bottom, right? Okay. Political personalities in economic issues. Okay. Oh, so that would be the...
An envelope is torn. I can tell that this dispatch...
Okay. Any other of these envelopes light up? No. Okay. Repair the wood of the news and brief compartment. £1. News and brief. So the wood should be different. Let's get rid of the world and police and law. Right? Okay, this would be this one because it looks different. The bear the wood. Okay. File says we made the page to be too small, particularly for the world and society sections, which cover too much area and overflow into the boxes below. Police, law, and culture. Okay. Society, world and society, police, law, and culture. Okay. World and culture. What? Did I put them on the same? Police and law, I assume that is, right? Well, presumably this is the one, because this is... Let's say world and culture, though. World and society, okay. World and society. Well, where am I supposed to put the Society then. All in society section was covered too much area and overflow into the boxes below. Police, law and culture. Oh, okay. That means society. Well, let's see. World, society, and police, law and culture. Culture. I'm assuming that's what it meant. Major info up high except news and brief. Minor info down low except police and law. News and brief, which is for the moment up high, and police and law, which is actually down low. Okay. Furthermore, the weather section is almost always empty. Presumably that's the weather then. That was a sports one. Okay. Let's see. The lady has so much compassion she lets me know such as politics and society are on the side. Sports is underneath economy. Politics and society are on the side. Sports is underneath economy. Politics and society are on the side. Side. Let's assume world and culture are here. Side sports is underneath economy. Personalities is at the end of the row. What? Really? Oh, maybe it's down here. Politics is at the end of the row? Wow, this is totally messing me up now. Okay, hold on. Personalities is at the end of the row. Front page news is the first compartment. Front page news is at the first compartment. So oh, okay. Personality is down below, yeah. I don't know. Let me see if this is... Okay, guess not. And these conferences, okay. And I missed this one. one on top of the other. So inventions in science and politics are one on top of the other. Okay. And politics. Where is politics? Yeah, okay. So I thought. Nope. There it is. As soon as I have the chance, I will show him how lucky it is, everything is blah. He easily confused the politics with the society section on his right. And this latter with economy, which is his neighbor. Okay. Politics with society section. Politics and society section is on the right. So politics, society section. So that's right. Here we go.
These envelopes contain dispatches of police and judicial cases. Now, I need to open them discreetly. I must try to unglue the openings.
So, okay, how do I do that? Large closed envelope. Matches. Okay. Well, we're getting on long here. Oh, wait, hold on.
Water.
What's this about? Water. Okay. The fireplace here. Wait a minute, let me see if I can mix the... Okay, let me look around a little bit here. Excuse me, my throat's a little dry. Anything else going on here? Okay, we got something on here. What's this about? What is that? Teapot. Am I making tea? Really? Put water in it?
That will provide me with steam.
Oh, okay.
These envelopes contain dispatches of police and judicial cases. Now, I need to open them discreetly. I must try to unglue the openings. These envelopes contain dispatches of...
Light the oven. There we go. There we go. Steam.
Open, and it looks like I'm in luck. This envelope contains precious information.
Okay. Here we go. I'll end it right after this. Testimony in the Smith Affair. Day of inquest, Saturday, April 7th, 1888. How long does this go on? Okay, this is getting on too long. I'll read this next time because I don't want to forget it. So, testimony in the Smith Affair. Okay. Alright, I'll get that next time.
The information excludes the murder of the first woman, Miss Smith. Jack the Ripper can't be the author of that crime. On the other hand, there are enough similarities to suggest he may be the killer of Martha Tabram. I must go to the pet shop.
Okay, we'll get to the pet shop next time. And I want to read that inquest, so... oh, bowling is gone. Okay. Alright, well, I'm going to end this here. Buddy says, thank you for joining me. Hopefully we'll figure out more next time. Thank God I figured that stuff out. That crap out. That thing, that stupid puzzle. Really, it was one... I just needed to know one compartment. He couldn't even just point at it. Seriously? Anyway. Thank you for joining me, Buddy says, and goodbye for now.